trim.
Well, I manscape, but
I don't shave.
But yeah, no, I do.
I got a straight razor that I use.
Yeah, I do.
I do every now and then. I'm not gonna lie.
I make them nice and smooth.
Man, see,
I don't know why the ladies don't ever get a chance to grab them. But
I use an electric razor, and I've nicked myself too many times. So I put a guard on there now, so I don't want to.
Yeah, but then you leave that stubble.
And then you get a razor.
I found that using a straight razor.
I have a safety blade, safety razor.
You use a straight blade, and an actual old school one.
I know.
And you just you fiddle.
Yeah.
And you pull taut. And you just slowly do that.
Okay.
Fuck, man. Number one, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So there's the excitement of being in the shower on a slippery shower floor with a straight blade to your nuts, but the shave is beautiful.
Man, there's no worse feeling than like just after shaving your junk and then water hitting it. And then soap, and then you soap it. It's the worst.
Yeah. You ever gotten toothpaste on your balls?
No.
Wait a minute. I love that feeling.
You love pain?
It's not painful for me.
Well,
what do you use?
Sadist.
Soap.
What kind of soap?
I don't know. Dove.
That should be okay. That's moisturizing.
Anything with a fragrance in it, though, will sting after a fresh shave.
Yeah.
I shave my nipples and my chest because I got that goofy.
Yeah, I just have the whole, everything's covered, so it's whatever.
There's no point. But I know if I use my Dove Men or whatever the fuck she buys me,
you guys,
it burns.
Really?
Yeah.
How come mine never does?
I don't know. I mean, only if I nick myself.
You're a sadist.
Oh. I didn't know. Okay. I fortunately have not done that yet.
See, when you're...
It's only a matter of time before I do, though.
When you're as hairy as I am.
I understand that. Yes, I understand that.
Razors don't like me.
I understand.
Razors don't like me.
They don't. That's why I don't shave this.
Should we get into a kid orgy after talking about shaving our balls?
Let's have at least one different conversation to buffer so we don't look like pedophiles.
I'm not into a palate cleanser.
Because I don't want to know why shaving your balls reminds you of child orgies.
Her thoughts broke off as she realized that Eddie comes to her first. I didn't want to say came because you know what I mean.
So we should do a countdown.
Comes to her first because he is the most frightened. He comes to her not as her friend, but as her brief lover. Oh, that's so sweet. This is Love and Desire, August 10th, 1958. What do you want? He asked her. You have to put your thing in me, she says. Bevy, I can't do that. I don't know how. I think it's easy, but you'll have to get undressed. No, I can't. You can, she says.
You're not reading it, you're just reading the dialogue.
That's what I'm doing.
We should all have parts.
Oh my God, do you guys want to do parts?
I don't want any part of this.
I'll so be Bevy, the one getting the train run on her by a bunch of 12 and 11-year-olds.
What do you want?
Oh, that's beautiful.
That was hot. Oh. Where are you at?
I just started over. What do you want?
You have to put your thing in me. No, wait.
What was that?
That was mean.
You gotta do it like flirtatious, like you have to put your thing.
You have to put your thing in me.
Bevy,
I keep going southern.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what I was
thinking.
thinking.
Can't do that. I don't know how.
I think it's easy, but you'll have to get undressed. Here, let me get you.
Can't.
You can. We'll go to the next page.
Kissing and stuff.
They're kissing and
She's
stuff.
thinking about birds.
Something about a smooth cheek.
Where?
Here.
Bevy, I'll fall on you.
I think that's sort of the idea. And then she holds him gently and guides him.
There is pain. Oh.
She draws her breath, her teeth biting at her lower lip, and thinks of the birds again. The spring birds, lining the roof peaks of houses. You're up.
Beverly, are you okay?
Go slower. It'll be easier for you to breathe. The pain fades. Suddenly he moves more quickly.
Paragraph comes.
Paragraph about blood deep or something.
He puts his face against her neck and she holds it.
It's
He's
all
crying.
Sweet. Of course he
Oh.
is. He's a fucking 12-year-old
I'm crying.
losing his virginity in a fucking train.
He was the first though.
Yes, he was.
No sloppy seconds, thirds, fourths,
Then
or maybe fifths.
Mike comes to her, then Richie, and the act is repeated.
Where's the Ben though, man? Ben
Oh,
freaking
Ben.
wrecks her.
Ben, yeah, with his big throbbing 12.
She just asked like, "Did you?" Like she doesn't even know what it is. This is
She
so
doesn't know
fucked
what
up.
it is, but she asked every one of them.
Did you?
Did you? Did I?
That's
what?
how you get the magic back, by coming.
I don't know about but the the grown-up boys. They always say it's something.
You know what's weird though is like this is all about them like keeping their childhood innocence, but that's like
But
the
they're
quickest way to
freaking-
get rid of it.
Basically, training,
Yeah,
running a train on their female friend.
yeah, and
This
she asked
comes-
for it.
But she comes from a abusive household with a drunk father. Remember,
True.
who
Probably was not
in
her
his
first time.
his drunken wisdom foresaw this. Of course, we're talking about Stephen King's It. Eye Candy here decided that what we do today in honor of the
New trailer.
the new trailer, the new Stephen King It movie, which I read is actually going to be geared more for with adult themes. So,
Good.
if this movie's going to be any good, they have to put in a bunch of 12-year-olds taking turns banging this little girl.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
I hope
they
not.
don't do it.
Do you think they'll at least nod to that portion, or are they still going to be...
They'll fade to black.
They'll fade to black.
Kelly, they've already tarnished my love for SpongeBob SquarePants with this new porno that came out.
What?
SpongeBob Square Nuts.
I don't think that they're going to go to the point where they're going to have an orgy on scene. Why can't they just go back to what happened with the original miniseries with It, and she just gave them a kiss on the cheek?
That's not dirty enough.
It's not dirty enough. It's not true to the book.
Yeah.
This is how, what was it, oh God, some Indian word.
Give me one good
The
example.
power of chud.
No.
Chud?
Chud.
Chud.
That's the
Yeah.
biting of the tongue or something to do with the...
Yeah,
throat.
they had to like lock the dead eyes or something.
Yeah.
Give me one good example where anybody, any writer, any director, has gone close to a Stephen King book related to the movies.
Oh,
Give me one.
I know. Harry, no, not Harry Potter.
The Mist.
Oh God, that was a good one.
There's also one where like there's a vampire in a town, but he wrote that as a.
Was that
screenplay.
Salem's Lot?
So,
No. Needful Things.
I don't know.
Oh,
But
right.
no, that was the devil.
Yeah, that was the devil.
Yeah,
that was
not
the
a
Needful
vampire.
Things.
Yeah, that was cool. There's even a Rick and Morty episode. Remember, Rickful Things or whatever the episode was.
Where he meets the devil.
Yeah, because the devil and Summer goes and works in the shop with
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
That's such a good. Oh, it was gonna make me retarded, Morty.
Yeah, and that was in honor of season 3 starting up. Why don't you go ahead and take it?
Yeah. So it was my choice to decide what we do, and I picked our top 3 Stephen King books. We also have a plan to do like favorite King movie adaptations.
Of books.
I think probably when the It movie comes out, we should do that.
Yes, yeah. We'll see how that movie turns out. I'll go with you guys.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So nothing. No reaction.
Nothing? No reaction to me saying that I'd go to a movie
Yeah,
with you guys.
I was excited, and Adrian.
We'll be by ourselves.
So we'll let Adrian start. What's your number 3?
This is the adaptation of just a book, or are we doing
Just books.
Okay,
Top
just
3
okay,
books.
Okay. My number 3 was the very first Stephen King book that I read, and that was Pet Sematary.
Okay.
Yes.
I've only read just a handful of Stephen King
God,
books.
he loves to kill kids.
Yes, he does. This, and I had now my at my fault, I watched the movie first.
Okay.
So then I read the book.
With Herman Munster.
Yeah, Fred Gwynn. And I just thought, and as I read the book, I was kind of going to flash it back to the movie and seeing scenes of the movie that he was portraying, but then there were parts that were left out of the movie, and he put in really good grisly detail of some of the things that were bad. You know, the cat was pretty much mauled, and that wasn't in the movie.
You know, it's a good thing that Stephen King writes books. Otherwise, I think he'd be close to a Jeffrey Dahmer.
Even
you know what I mean?
Even to the point
He'd be at his house drilling holes in people's heads, trying to make sex
and
zombies out of them.
even Gabe, the child, he was in a way more gruesome form in the book than he was in the movie. Of course, I don't think they
Once
could
again,
show
we
that.
had spoke about how they lighten up the adaptations of his
Yeah.
movies. You know,
Yeah.
they really do. They leave out a lot of the grisly, just dirty.
Yeah.
nasty
You can't
shit.
go full King.
No,
No, you
no,
can't.
no.
You can't
Exactly. There you
go
go.
full
Good,
King.
good. So I enjoyed the book, and it, like I said, it was my very first introduction to Stephen King. I knew about him and I knew of his work, but that was the very first one that I went and read. So that's my number 3.
Not a bad choice. My number 3. I wish I could go along the lines of the first Stephen King book that I read, but that was Cell, which wasn't a great book. It was okay.
That was the telephone one.
That was the telephone one,
Yeah.
where cell phones turn people to zombies. And
Yeah,
there's
I don't think that
carnies
one
or something.
ever really hit too big.
There was I think a straight to DVD movie that every time I'm at
No.
Walmart, my friends
No.
like, you should get that. You love Stephen King. I'm
Jesus
like, I don't
Christ!
want.
Anytime this fucker writes a book, they'll make a movie or a miniseries out of it, won't they?
Yeah. So I'm gonna make my number 3. I'm gonna go The Talisman, which little boy
I'm trying to picture the book cover.
going coast to coast. I don't remember the book cover either. But and then he could like fade into another world that his dad and his dad's old business partner used to get rich. I can't remember the book that well because it was one of the earlier Stephen King books
Right.
I read. But it's like a grand epic of a kid traveling cross country to save his mom.
Mm.
It was really cool. I recommend it if you have not read it.
The Talisman.
Talisman. They came out with a second book called Black House that I tried reading, but it was really boring.
My number 3 is going to be From a Buick 8.
Okay.
No?
No,
I've
no,
never
no.
heard of that one.
This is a really good one. It's set, of course, in Maine.
Now, is this one a Stephen King or is this a Richard Bachman?
No, this is Stephen King.
Okay.
From a Buick 8 is basically what it is. It's about a Buick 8 car that, it basically has a black hole or a transport vessel in the trunk
Okay.
that will transport or expel things from a different dimension or a different world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's set in a highway patrol office in Maine where they store it inside the Shed B.
All right.
And it's the story of a kid who you follow him from his high school all the way up to him becoming one of the highway patrolmen. And it's more the story about that, and every once in a while they throw in this weird shit that happens with the Buick 8, or shit either coming out of the trunk, or shit like people going into the trunk and having to come up with a cover story so that the government doesn't end up with this.
Yeah.
Buick 8. The kid, his dad dies
Mm-hmm.
by a drunk driver after stopping an 18-wheeler. His book it's awesome. It's got sci-fi. It's got a nice story about a kid growing up without a dad, but yet still following in his dad's footsteps. So that's a good book from a Buick 8. I like that one.
My number 2 was one that I read in high school, and it took me one day to read it. because it was pretty much a short story. Actually, it wasn't a very long story.
I like his short stories.
Yeah.
But this wasn't in Four Past Midnight, or it wasn't in any of the Bachman books. This was one that was a straight novel, but it was a very short book. But I just remember reading it. It took a year in the book. It was only a year, and it was from October to the next October, and that was Cycle of a Werewolf.
I remember you talking about this before.
And I've heard of it.
And this one was one of the, probably, I think, the second to last book that I read from him. I've always said I've read only a handful. And this is about a boy that was handicapped. He was in a wheelchair, and he had a fascination of werewolves. And there was a werewolf that came into the town. It's a very small town. And in the beginning of the book, you would see some of the things that the werewolf was doing, like throughout the months, because obviously the full moon comes once a month, and for those few days. So you would see in the beginning of the book who his victims were and what, and it kind of, the problem with it was in the month of July, when it was the 4th of July, the werewolf had come and was going after the little boy. And then he shot a bottle rocket into his eye, into the werewolf's eye, to scare him off. And then August, they're at a get-together of an you can look at me weirdly.
Silver Bullet.
Yes, that was the movie called Silver
Okay.
Bullet.
Okay.
It was called. Yes.
I'm sitting here. That's where I heard Cycle Werewolf.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes. The book was called.
Every
Cycle.
time you kept coming up, I'm getting closer. I'm going.
Yes.
I was so.
Yes. The
But
cycle.
yeah.
Yes. That was one thing, because I remember watching Silver Bullet. I'm going, this is not Silver Bullet. This is Cycle of a Werewolf.
Right.
Yeah. The book was called Cycle of a Werewolf. The movie was called Silver Bullet.
Has he done that a lot? Or they?
I think that's the only time that's ever. Has it happened before, Jacob?
Secret
Stand By
Garden-
Me is actually the body.
Yes, that's true.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's another one that I think there's another one that has that different. Now I can't. I'm drawing a blank. But when you said that's accurate.
Yeah.
That was another one of those grisly fucking just morbid.
I didn't read the book, but the movie was freaking great.
You didn't like the movie?
No, it was good, but it was grisly again.
Oh, yeah.
It's all based around them finding a fucking dead body. But it's still a story of growing up.
Stephen King loves writing about children.
Yeah, he loves to write about children.
Just in the worst situations in life is how I was going to end that.
I will say that, but like I said, but the movie they just in the beginning of the book they just gave it away when they went to his neighbor. He had an eye patch. I'm like, okay, well this is pretty much the movie. This pretty much just destroyed the book.
Oh, so he wasn't a priest in the book.
Yeah,
he was.
But it also was neighbor.
Yep. But but like I said, it took me a day to read it because it was such a short story. But it was a page turner. Yeah. It kept me involved. It kept me going. So yeah, I like the story, but and then the movie was just once again an awful movie. So, but I enjoyed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if there's
I think Silver Bullet was the second horror movie I ever saw.
Okay.
And I was 3rd, 4th grade.
Boy, it looked cheesy.
I watched The Thing. You remember? Was that John Carpenter?
With Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I watched that when I was in fucking 1st grade.
That was a great movie.
Oh my God, scared the shit out of me.
My first horror film, Children of the Damned. No, that creeped me out.
No.
Oh yeah, that creeped me out.
How old were you?
1st grade.
Yeah.
That creeped me out.
I don't remember my first horror film.
Nightmare on Elm Street, because someone ran into your window and jumped at you guys.
I know who Freddy Krueger. That was
and you and Shane, I think Miranda was in there.
Yeah.
You guys were scared out of your wits.
Well, you can't do that.
Actually, speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street, I just ran through all the movies again.
For people who don't know, I've known this kid since he was 4. So
yeah.
I've
a lot of stories that
I helped raise this kid. No, I'm just kidding.
A little bit.
Number 2.
Okay, Jacob, what's your number 2?
My number 2, I'm going to go somewhat recent Stephen King book in the grand scheme of things. I'm gonna go Under the Dome.
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes.
Very good book.
Yeah, I never made it
Except
all the
for
way
the
through.
ending. Yeah. One thing I've realized about Stephen King is he writes great books, and then his
But-
endings kind of.
Fade out like he got bored with it.
Yeah, he was like, man, the coke wore off.
Stephen King, Stephen King always kept one in the chamber. He would when he first started writing
Mm-hmm.
books, he would always have one as a backup.
Okay.
He would write just a quick book that he could just throw together, and then work on the masterpiece that he was working on.
Mm-hmm.
Stan, the Gunslinger, or the Dark Tower series.
Yeah.
Books like that. But he would always have one, and that could be one of those ones that was just in the drawer when his
Yeah.
publisher got on him really hard about, we need a book here, King.
Yeah.
So he had that to throw at him. So he always had a backup.
Okay.
That could
did
be
not know
one of
that.
those books.
Yeah. But about a small town that gets trapped under a dome for no reason. Like it just happens suddenly, like a freaking
The book
plane.
starts. The book starts with a plane crash.
Yeah, this somebody's learning to fly, and there's an invisible dome, and so they just freaking crash into it.
The Simpsons did that.
Yep, Simpsons did it.
Did you watch the TV series?
I watched like the first half of the first season, but I wasn't that interested in it.
I got
Did you-
as
did-
far as that kid having that girl locked up in the bunker, and then I had to stop watching.
Did
because
this?
it
Did
gave me
this?
ideas.
After this first or second, did it go way off from the? They just did
I
their
don't
own thing?
know. Like I said, I never finished the series, nor did I ever finish the book.
The book gets creepy though. He like keeps a dead chick in his closet because he loves her and
Yeah.
stuff.
Get you some.
The main character Barbie is just a total badass, and I love his character. It's not it's not the best book I've ever read, but I loved it.
And like I
because
said, it could
was-
have been one of those just in the drawer waiting
Yeah.
for his publisher to get on his ass about.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just stuck out to me. I think it was the first Stephen King book that I bought myself. Because I got ones at gifts and I read them at the library at school.
Right.
But this is the first one that I went out and I was like, I want this book. It's new, Stephen King. Give it to me. It was at a Kmart. That tells you.
And this one was, and this one was one of his fairly newer ones. This was.
I think it was like 2010,
Oh, okay.
2011.
Yeah.
Not
Because
too long ago. Like I said, in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
he came out with the the key or whatever it is.
Duma Key?
Is that it? Was it Duma Key?
Yeah.
The eighth in the series of the Dark Tower.
No, never mind.
There's something key, because he came out with that.
Through
That's
the keyhole?
I think that's it.
what it's
I think
called,
that's
yes.
it because that's kind of a continuation
Yeah.
for the Dark Tower series.
I have the entire Dark Tower series and I've read the first book. So
Fucking sinner, man! You got to get into it.
it's
Well, when I get to my number two, I'll talk about what's
Well,
really cool about
you're
Stephen
you're
King's
next.
novel. My number two. Full discretion. I did not read this book. I listened to it on audio.
Same.
okay.
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
It's not the same thing.
No, it's not. But
No, you're right.
it's The Stand.
Yeah.
It's about that fucking thing.
I don't blame you for wanting to listen to that one.
You know, I used to mow yards for a living, so I had
Yeah.
12, 13 hours to blow every day, so I always had an iPod in. I found audiobooks were the way to go.
Yeah.
The Stand was my go-to in the spring. Got me through the fucking...
I would say 13-hour days. How many weeks did it take you to listen to that?
Yeah, it took 2.5, 3 weeks to get through that fucking book. It was somewhere in the hundreds of hours.
It's a monster of a book.
Yeah, I think it is one, pretty close, probably one of the total page-wise largest books.
Oh.
That's a work of fiction.
Yeah, I believe it. I'd say I was reading it in high school, and there would be times like I just carried it around everywhere, and I'd read from it. But it's so big, like people would see me a week or
Fucking
two
huge.
later, and they're like, "Are you even reading that thing?" Like I am. It's just
It's
that
huge
big.
and it's small print.
Yeah.
The Stand is awesome. I absolutely loved it. The whole stories of all these separate people and how they're dealing with the end of the world,
Yep.
and how all of a sudden the factions, start to develop the evil society. You're Walking Dead, and then you got the good guys, held by the black woman. I can't think of her name.
With they're like, I don't remember either.
But then you got Randall Flagg hauling the guys.
You got Trash Man.
Which Randall Flagg, this is the cool thing about Stephen King.
He's the guy from the Dark Tower.
He's the man in black.
Yeah.
He's also he's several characters.
Yeah.
Every most of Stephen King's novels, where there is the protagonist. Did I get that right?
Maybe.
Protagonist, the bad guy, the villain.
Yeah.
It's generally this
Antagonist.
guy. Antagonist.
Yeah.
It's usually this guy, Randall Flagg, or the Man in Black, and it's that same character. It's even stated in the book that he likes this version of Earth, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Because he actually transports himself through all of Stephen King's books, universes, and causes all this chaos and all this distress, trying to bring the end of the world.
Yep. There's another book I read. It was a fantasy book where I can't remember what it's called. I think it had something about dragon in the title, and he was like the main villain pulling the strings of the. It was cool.
That's what I'd love. When he was writing The Stand, he drove through Iowa on some book signing tour during this, and that's where he came up with the Children of the Corn, is while he was writing The Stand. So all of this, and that's, some of that is taken into The Stand, and I mean, all his books come together and live within that same universe.
I still say, don't tell me, I'll tell you, because of The Stand.
Yeah.
When he's like raping that guy with the gun.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fucked up book.
Yeah, but it is beautiful. I love that book. Just
another one that I felt kind of didn't have that good of an ending, though.
Yeah. And I think he gets bored with them.
He's like, man, I just
He spent
wrote.
so many years writing these major novels
Yeah.
that I think towards the end he just kind of draws off and goes, getting
Nuke,
bored.
Hand of God, whatever.
It's great.
It's done.
Jesus, here, fucking publish it.
Coke ran out.
Coke ran out. Oh, worst thing in life.
I think the only two novels that I can think of that were longer was A Tale of Two Cities and War and Peace. But I think
that might
The best part is
be in the running there.
it is.
There was the short version, and then he was like, I had more material somehow.
You told me a story about you going to the lake one time when the miniseries of The Stand was on, where you left in the morning, went to the lake.
Yep.
You came back and the fucking thing was still on.
Yep.
What is it like?
Yeah,
It's like 4 or 5 2-hour
Right. I
mini movies.
went there at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I got back at 6 o'clock, and it was still on. And then I remember I was still this was a friend's house. I was still there, and we were having a few beers, and this was about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and that movie was still on. And it was just playing in the background. And I finally go, what is this? Is this is this a TV series? I look.
I would like to see
I go
them.
over to her. I said, Carrie, what is this crap? And she goes, it's The Stand. I'm like,
Those movies that, the adaptations that were made in the early 80s, early 90s are so fucking dated. They are, it's a struggle to watch them. So I'm pretty excited about this new.
I say I watched it, and it's good, but it also doesn't hold up at the same time.
No, I think we want bigger, we want better, we want.
Yeah, give me more, but that's the only way that you can do it and have it be as faithful to the book as possible.
Right.
Because that's how you get all the material in, is by having a 10-hour long movie.
Right. Adrian, you're number one.
Rose Matter. Rose Madder. Madder.
Oh, fuck.
That one is my number one. I read it on a whim. I had no idea what it was. I read the back of it. Okay, this sounds pretty good. Never heard of it. One of his lesser known.
So I've never heard of it.
Just a complete. This one is one of my favorite books. Just not Stephen King, but one of my favorite books of all time. It was so suspenseful. It grabs you into the story. It's about an abusive wife. She's married to an abusive husband. She takes matters into her own hands, and what ends up happening is she ends up taking the guy out, and it was like in a self-defense kind of thing. She got off
But
on
she
it.
still goes on the run.
No.
She got off on it, you said.
Yeah, she gets.
Yeah,
she was
I bet
acquitted.
She did.
She was.
Oh, I thought you meant she like
No,
she
no,
like
no,
freaking
no.
got her
Got
her Jimmy's Russell.
But he's
like Clerks.
but for some yeah. But for some
That
reason,
wasn't you?
But for some reason, the man just won't rest peacefully.
Comes back.
Oh, does he ever?
Oh my God.
In that kind of a spiritual form. It just fucks with her head.
Okay.
So good. So good. I'm not even gonna go any further because I want you guys to read it because it was so good.
Well, I'll do the audio book.
Yes, dude. Yeah. Yes, but yes, that one was like I said. That one
I do.
I
love
read.
audio.
I read my freshman year, and it was just a great book. And I kept. I mean, like it's kind of like we do with The Stand. I had it with me all the time, and then when I had free time, I would just turn a little page here and there. And it was just a great. Like I said, I just got it on a whim, and I loved it, and it didn't take me very long to read it because it was just I just kept turning the pages. It was a great book. That was my favorite one. But
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Sorry.
Gosh, number one, I'd have to say The Green Mile. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm not choosing
Nope,
it
never read that one.
or The Stand. And I felt like that was unfair, as those are like two of my favorite books at all times. So number one would be The Stand, number two would be It, but I was like, no, I can't do those. I'll do top three that aren't my two favorite books ever. So Green Mile. Have you seen the movie?
That's all just the
I
movie.
haven't.
I haven't read the book or anything.
But I've heard it's pretty good adaptation. Prisoner on death row. But
Trumped up charges.
Yep, it wasn't him. It was I can't remember.
Wild Bill.
White guy
Wild Bill. Yeah, it was a white guy that
actually did it.
Yeah.
Then he ends up in jail
With it.
coffee, right?
yeah. Sock the Dragon was spelled different. Such a great.
They did that in the book too, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Freaking Heart of Gold guy.
Yeah.
It's such a tragic
Healing
tale.
powers.
Healing powers. He.
So it's nice to see that he. Sorry to cut you off, but once again, King has the ability to tell a tale where it's a story of somebody's life and how they're getting through it. Now this one's about a guy on death row who's completely innocent, but looking at going to old Sparky. But yet there's that sci-fi element or that fantasy element to it. So you got what could be nonfiction with fiction on top of it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
beautiful. I love the way he merges those two things together.
Oh, it's a great book. It's between that and Misery. I don't know why I have
Misery. Actually, I read Misery. I liked it.
It's a great. They're both. He's a great freaking author.
He really is, and that's why he is, the one of the biggest names in fiction, is because he's so damn good at that, and he's been doing it for
he's the
since the mid to late '60s, hasn't he?
I mean, honestly, Misery should be on there before The Talisman or Under the Dome. But I just picked them because they meant something to me because they were first book I bought, stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, Green Mile. Fucking phenomenal book. I'm sure if no spoiler, he dies at the end, and it's so sad because nobody wants to do it, and they're even like, we'll just.
I'm man enough to admit that I had a small little tear pop out of my eye.
You can't not. He's nothing but good, and everyone like.
I did. That's. I tried the movie. I only seen the movie, but I cried.
This movie and
Mine was Mystic River. Was the other one?
Marley. Marley.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, bald like a little bitch.
I've never finished
Fucking
it.
me and two of my sisters go to this movie, that Marley and Me.
Yeah.
Fucking dude.
If there's a dog in the movie, it dies. And that's just the trope.
Yeah, I didn't care. It was a dog. I felt. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm gonna start crying.
It's okay.
This show dedicated to baby. Grandma Death passed away. Yeah, she died last Thursday.
You didn't say anything.
Yeah.
You just can't do that. You just can't throw that at him.
No.
Yeah, Grandma Death. She's buried in the back. It's pretty sad. Anyway.
So The Green Mile is a good book. For reasons. Yeah, but it's weird to have like the main character, the like head guard guy, kind of like, man, we should
Tom
probably,
Hanks.
yeah, Tom Hanks being like, man, we should probably just like let him go because he didn't fucking do anything.
Right.
But yeah, good book.
When you talked about how they put the sci-fi into the Green Mile,
Mhm.
when I was watching the Shawshank Redemption, I was waiting for a sci-fi part.
Right?
Yeah, it was weird that it wasn't.
That was just a straight. They had no fantasy, had no sci-fi, had no horror, had no monsters.
Actually, now that I think about it, I saw Shawshank first,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I was watching the Green Mile, I was going to the point where it's just a prison movie. He's gonna do kind of like way different from Shawshank, but I'm thinking
It's just a prison movie.
it's just gonna be a prison movie. Then when John Coffey healed Tom Hanks
balls.
from his urinary tract infection.
I think he had kidney stones.
A friend of mine, he says to me, he watched the Green Mile and he goes, I don't get it. And he's no longer my friend anymore.
Oh my God!
But I said, what don't you get?
You get rid of friends based over their views on
Is there
movies?
any better reason?
How am I still you guys' friends? I bash on all sorts of movies.
Well, that's fine. At least you have an opinion.
Point taken.
Point taken.
And he
yes.
goes, I don't get it. I don't get what's going on. What's so good about this movie? And I'm like, you're not my friend anymore. But no, actually, I just said to him, I go, you don't get what Stephen King was trying to get here? No. I said to a society of us, we have a reputation of destroying nature's wonders.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful view.
That's what I thought of it was.
yeah.
That was
I
that,
can't
that
tell
was
if I'm
Stephen.
gonna
That
cry
was
because of that or
that was
like
Stephen
that.
King's interpretation of how society destroys nature's wonders.
I'm terrible at picking up themes in books, in movies, anything. So
I get sold.
pointing that out.
If it's a good movie, I just get into it to the point
Yeah.
where everything else is just.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not trying to pick up on the director or the writers.
What are they
views.
trying to say here?
What is
I'm
this
just
guy
like,
trying to tell
No,
me?
no,
I know
that's
he's trying to
good.
tell me
But no,
something.
but I think Stephen King has a way of doing that. It's his way. If you come up with a theme,
Mhm.
he'll put it into a story form. I think a lot of his books have that.
probably.
Well,
Like I said,
well-
I'm terrible at picking them up. So
I think that a lot of his stories, like
Well, Randall Flagg being the dark nature of man and his constant need to destroy.
right, and speaking of which, I don't want to segue, but from the movie, the trailer, but is it true? Or is it just something that social media has grabbed a hold of and won't shut
Yes,
out of
there will be child orgy in the movie.
No, that's not what I'm going at. Is there a gunslinger movie coming out?
I think so.
Okay, this has been talked about for about
80 years.
Before
Before
80
Stephen
years.
King even was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Gunslinger movie has gone through so many rumors as far as, yes, it's coming out. Okay, you remember The Mist, the movie?
Yeah,
Did you ever
yeah.
see the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, he was a painter. And the very first scene, he's painting a movie poster. It's a Roland with a rose.
Mm-hmm.
Roland being the gunslinger.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a little tip to the hat
Yeah.
that we are going to possibly be moving, because he was a movie poster artist.
Yep.
So I thought that was cool.
I remember you talking about that.
So now, yes, I've seen trailers, but none of them are verified trailers.
Oh.
And Roland's going to be a black guy, not racist. Just in my head, he was always white.
He is. But whatever.
I think Clint Eastwood would make an awesome Roland. I don't know if you can tell, but my number one Stephen King book isn't just a book, it's a series of books. And it is the Dark Tower series. Yes, I know I'm cheating, but it's one giant book to me.
Yeah.
It's bigger than The Stand.
I can see that.
This entire series, I either read or listen to once a year. I love this thing. This thing is just a masterpiece.
I loved the first book, but
The Gunslinger.
Yeah, my problem was between that and the second book, I took such a long break of reading it where I forgot most of what happened in the first book.
And there's a lot of back and forth from book to book to book to book, because you gotta remember what happened in this book for this part in this book to make sense.
So I tried reading the first one again, and I'm like, wow, I kind of know what I'm talking about. And then I tried to read the second one. I'm like, I have no fucking
And there's
idea.
8 of these books right now?
And now there is. There was originally 7. I got all of those, but I think they're water damaged.
Just like George R.R. Martin.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he loves dick.
I love my dick. Does that make me a faggot?
No, but he loves other people's dicks.
How?
Isn't he the one that writes for Game of Thrones, right?
He wrote the books, but
Yes.
he doesn't care.
There's
he doesn't
tons
do
of
the
penises
show.
in those
There's
books.
no penis in the books.
I know. I haven't read it, so I don't know. But
There you go.
I'm basing my knowledge off of
I'm saying,
of South Park.
the sex scenes in the book are like super tame. Like it starts. It's
It's
like
not a kid orgy.
no. Thankfully, except Daenerys is like I think 14.
Can we,
But that's
we're
what it
talking
was. But
about
that's
Stephen
what it
King
was.
here.
But
Oh yeah,
that's-
sorry, Stephen King.
I'll say, but that's what it was back in the day.
What?
14-year-old sex
14-year-olds getting pregnant.
all the time.
What's wrong with that?
Okay, go back to your
I'm
doctor.
hoping my daughter gets pregnant by
Oh.
then I got something to sell.
Oh Jesus! Oh my God!
Your daughter or the baby?
The baby.
Okay. It's a little factory. I don't even want to
Do you
look
feel
at
that?
it. I don't even want to look
What
at
is
it.
wrong with
I don't
you?
want to look at it. I don't want to look at it.
What the fuck?
It could be a
is
package deal. Buy one, get one
wrong?
free.
I want to get one free.
A BOGO! A baby BOGO!
Baby boy.
Oh.
Both of you are so. Both of you are sick.
That could be a Stephen King book.
Baby Bogo.
Baby BOGO.
So
Coming this summer on MTV.
I'm not
Baby
laughing.
BOGO.
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at that.
You smirk. You know it.
What's wrong with child
Black market babies?
Yeah,
Well, black market, man. That's a little dark.
that's racist.
Yeah.
What else would you call them?
I don't know.
Baby markets.
Baby market.
They're called black market babies for a reason. You sell them. They sell them. That's nothing to do with race. Has nothing to do with color or anything.
I think you took this too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it too far.
So anyway, this whole series, I mean, like we had talked about with The Stand
Yeah.
and other books, this whole world revolves around, we'll call it the multiverse
Dark Tower.
of Stephen King
Yeah.
novels. So it moves in and out of all of his other books. The ego on this guy even wrote himself as a character in the books.
I've heard
You
of
know?
that.
There's a part in the book where he writes about the time in his true life that he had gotten hit by a van on one of his daily coke runs.
Yeah.
I have too much coke!
I think he was clean at that point.
So he has to go for a walk. He got hit by a van, fucked up his hip. He wrote in the book that Roland's hip was fucked up after that. Him and Roland were connected. The author was writing Roland's story. Roland left his world, went into Stephen King's world to get the writer back on track, stop drinking, stop doing the drugs. This was therapy for King.
Yeah, he must have been on so many fucking painkillers.
You know, when he was writing this, it was therapy for himself.
Yeah.
To get off the booze, stop doing the drugs, you know, get off the pain meds because he became addicted to those.
I could see that because, like, I read the forward, intro, whatever, where he's like, this is a series that I always wanted to do, and he's like, gets this close to death, and he's like, I didn't finish that, so I need to. So I could see
And
that.
it was him sending Roland into his life to get him to get off the booze and the painkillers and whatnot.
That's cool.
Get up off your ass and write your books.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was therapy for him. So you saw the inner turmoil that King was going through when he was writing these books, writing himself into it, fucking up Maine because Roland's running rampant, blowing gas stations up, killing people. Then he goes back to his own universe. I mean, the series is so fucking awesome. But the shitty thing about it, when they get to the end, he finds out that he's already been there, and the whole thing starts all over. Oh. That's how the fucking thing ends, with him having to start all the way over again. And the last sentence in the book,
first sentence of the first book?
Of the Gunslinger,
wow.
the man in black fled across the desert.
God, I got
beautiful.
No reason to read the books. I just know what's gonna happen. That's one that maybe you shouldn't have spoiled.
You know what? It's not so much the destination that's all the fun. It's getting there. That's all.
Not the destination.
I fucked up that.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. It's just,
it would have been so much easier to say.
Yeah.
Should we read a little bit more?
Yeah, let's read more child sex.
Yeah.
That feels... I don't...
For the pop
condone
clash,
that.
for Jacob and Kelly, this is...
He's not just
ignorant.
trembling
We are
now,
not-
he's shaking all over, but she senses again that this... What's that word? A gooey?
A goo?
Is that what he left
gooey?
on her? I think
A
that's
goo
what...
is not all fear.
I'm pretty sure that's what he left on her tummy.
A goo.
For Jacob and Kelly,
It's not all fear.
I'm
but
Adrian, and this is
his
the
face is
pop
dear
clash.
sweet earnest faced, and the TV antenna atop Wally's. What? Ben, yes, she cries suddenly, and the leash breaks. Floodgates of blood.